Hello everyone, my name is Eric Harris. I'm here today with my EDU 1107 Introduction to Education Human Development class at Florida Southern College. Today I want to talk to you about Ivan Pavlov and his contribution to science and education. I'm sure for any of you guys that have taken a psychology class or an education class, you are well aware of Pavlov's theories and ideas and his theory of classical conditioning, which ultimately made him very famous. For those of you who may not know who Pavlov is, let me give you a little background information on it. Pavlov was a Russian physiologist who was doing a study to see how saliva in dogs aided in the digestive process. His original experiment was he would take tubes, stick them in the saliva glands of dogs, and feed the dogs and collect the amount of spit that the dogs generated and use that as data to see how that broke down the food itself and how it aided in the digestive system of the dogs. But through that original experiment, he began to notice some things that were happening with his dogs that made him start kind of delving in a little deeper into what we now know as his classical conditioning theory, and which ultimately made him famous and made him a Nobel Prize winner. Pavlov used the original idea of his original experiment, where he was using a stimulus, this being the food, to produce an automatic unlearned response in his dogs, which was the saliva. He would use food as the stimuli, and the response was the saliva. But what he began to notice through his original experiment was that same response of the saliva began to happen just when he would walk in the room, or when his assistant would walk in the room. And he began to think, was the dogs being conditioned, was their mind being conditioned to recognize that, through him walking in the room, that meant they were about to be fed. So that began the saliva process. So he began to look into some different avenues of his approach on his original experiment. So, as we all know, he began to use some different neutral stimuli. Instead of the food being the original stimuli, he began to use a bell as a neutral stimuli. Now, ringing a bell normally would not produce saliva in a dog. However, what he started doing was he would ring the bell and then feed the dog. Ring the bell and feed the dog. After an amount of time passed, he used that same theory of a secondary neutral stimuli, the bell. He would ring it and the dogs would produce saliva, even when food wasn't offered or given to them. So he came up with the idea that the dogs were becoming conditioned in a way that they associated the bell with food. So it made him think that they were classically conditioned, meaning that their minds basically played the role of an understanding that with this neutral stimuli, the body automatically generated the original response, which was the salivation. Now, basically, that's a lot, of big terms and, deep thinking. We see this all the time in our day-to-day life as humans. I know for me, I'm really big into music, and so I can hear a certain song, especially from, the 80s, that when I was a kid, that I can hear this song and it immediately brings me back to where I was or what I was doing at that time. There are certain smells that I can smell, and it automatically brings me back to an event in my life that would not normally generate that emotion or that idea or that thought, but because that smell or that sight of something or that sound automatically triggers something in my brain that makes me go back and think about what got me, where I was at during that time. And basically, there was a lot more work done on this theory after Pavlov's original idea, but he really kind of opened up the theory of what the role that the mind plays, and how certain sounds and smells and whatever else can really affect the way that our body reacts to something without even really having to think about it. Just like in his original experiment, the dogs obviously produced saliva when food was given. However, when you dove deeper into it, a bell could do the same thing. A bell that shouldn't produce saliva would produce saliva because they correlated that with food. So again, this is just this is one of the ways that he became really famous. But today what I want to do is I want to see if I can kind of generate the same thought process and see if I can get my subject's body to become conditioned to me giving them a stimuli while they're doing a natural reaction to a book. Okay, so what my experiment is I want to get my son to read the classic book Green Eggs and Ham. Okay, now we all know that in Green Eggs and Ham it's a repetitious book. They say the same words over and over and over. So what I want to do is I want to use the word like. Every time in this book that the word like comes up, I'm going to blow a whistle by my son's ear. Obviously not in it, I don't want to hurt him, but near his ear. And I want to see his reaction to it. Now, what I hope to do is as he's reading the book, repetitiously he begins to pick up that I'm blowing the whistle on the word like. So his initial response should be startled, or he should definitely be scared when the original whistle goes off. But as his body begins to get conditioned to it, and he understands that we're going on the word like every time he says like, I'm blowing the whistle, then the first few times we do it, he should still be scared. And then as I begin to, his body begins to get conditioned to it, it should become lesser of a response. And then I'm going to, about halfway through the book, I'm going to stop blowing the whistle altogether to see if his body will then generate the same response if we do it again near the end of the book. So this is my spin on Pavlov's idea of classical conditioning. I hope that you enjoy it. Give me just a second and I'll get my son. Hey, Cole! Cole! Like any kid, he has a hard time hearing. Cole! Okay, so here's my son. I'm going to have him read the classic book, Green Eggs and Ham. Come on up here, buddy.
I am Sam.
You got to read it loud now so they can hear you.
I am Sam. I am Sam. Sam I am. That Sam I am. That Sam I do not like. Sam I am. Do you like it? Your name? I do not like this. Sam I am. I do not like your eggs and ham. Would you like them here or there? Would you? I would not like them here or there. I would not like them anywhere. I do not like your eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you like them in a house? Would you like them in a mouse? I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like your eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am.
Read normal now.
Would you eat them in a box? Would you eat them with a fox? Not the box, not with the fox, not in the house, not with the mouse. I would not eat them here or there. I would not eat them anywhere. I would not eat green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you, could you, in a car? Eat them, here they are. I would not, could not, in a car. You may like them, you will see. You may like them in a tree. I would not, could not, in a tree, not in a car, you let me be. I do not like them in a box, I do not like them in a box. I do not like them here or there, I do not like them in, I do not like them with a mouse, I do not like them here or there, I do not like them in here. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am.
Pretty loud.
A train, a train. A train, a train. Could you, would you on a train? Not on a train, not in a train, not in a car, Sam, let me be. I would not, could not in a box. I could not, would not with a fox. I will not eat them with a mouse. I will not eat them in a house. I will not eat them here or there. I will not eat them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Say in the dark, here in the dark. Would you, could you, in the dark? I would not, could not in the dark. Would you, could you, in the rain? I would not, could not, in the rain. Not in the dark, not in a train, not in a car, not in a tree. I do not like them, Sam, you see. Not in a house, not in a box, not with a mouse, not with a fox. I will not eat them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. You do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Could you, would you with a goat? I would not, could not with a goat. Would you, could you on a boat? I could not, would not on a boat. I will not with a goat. I will not eat them in the rain. I will not eat them on a train. Not in the dark, not in the tree, not in the car. You let me be. I do not like them in a box. I do not like them with a fox. I will not eat them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. You do not like them, so you say, try them, and you may try them, and you may, I say. Sam, if you let me be, I will try them, you will see. Say, I like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. I like them, Sam I am. And I would eat them in a boat. I would eat them with a goat. And I would eat them in the rain, and in the dark, and on a train, and in a car, and in a tree. They are so good, you see. So I will eat them in a box, and I will eat them in a fox. I will eat them in a house. I will eat them with a mouse, and I will eat them here or there. Say, I will eat them anywhere. I do so like green eggs and ham. Thank you, Sam I am.
Thanks, buddy. Now let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Okay, first of all, don't talk like a baby. Okay, did you pick up on what word I used when I blew the whistle?
Pick up what word?
Did you see the word every time you said a word in here? I blew the whistle. Did you see what word that was?
Sam.
Nope, it was like. Okay, the first few times that I blew the whistle, did it mess you up? Were you surprised or scared?
Yeah, I was kind of scared.
And then as the book went on, you kind of knew that the whistle was going to come again, right? So you didn't have the same response. Is that right? So after about halfway through the book, you kind of knew that a whistle was coming every so often. You were trying to pick up on certain words. Is that right? Okay. Well, thanks, buddy, for your help.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
See ya. Okay, so obviously that's a little it's a tough way to try to do it because it's not an initial response. It's not something that happens naturally in our body to read. But I just wanted to try to show the way that the original stimuli, the whistle, would affect him while he was reading the first few times, and then as his body became conditioned to it, it was not as effective for the experiment. And that's the same thing that Pavlov found out in his experiment. The first over time, the sight of the himself or his assistant coming in or the bell kind of lost its effect because the dogs did not get an initial reward for it being the food or a stimuli. So thank you for your interest in my video. Hope you guys have a great day, and good night.